Long before these titles were officially included in the Litany of Loreto, Christians recognized something profoundly different about Mary. So, from the early days of the church, Christians held fast to the belief that Mary was set apart by God for a holy purpose. She was not just any woman. She was chosen to be the mother of the Son of God. Because of this, it made sense to describe her special role and purity that flows from God's grace in her life. And so when we reflect deeply about Mother Inviolate, what this means is that Mary remained whole and untouched by the corruption of sin. This belief is closely tied to the teachings of her Immaculate Conception, that from the moment of her conception, Mary was preserved from original sin by a singular grace of God. To be inviolate is to be undamaged, whole, complete, and guarded. In Mary, we find a woman who was never broken by sin, never stained by selfishness, never divided in her love for God. She stands as a sign of what grace can do in a person fully open to the will of God. This title is a celebration of her strength and her protection from the spiritual harm that touches all of us. We honor her because God first honored her. When we praise Mary's purity, we are really glorifying the God who made her pure. When we call her inviolate and undefiled, we are marveling at what God's grace can accomplish in a human life. All devotion to Mary leads us closer to Jesus, not away from him. And so that is why I said Mary herself would never accept worship. She is always pointing us to her Son, saying, do whatever he tells you. To call her undefiled is to admire the shining beauty of her soul. Mary was not sinless, but entirely pure in love, her intentions, her desires, and her faith. And when we say undefiled, means that there was nothing in her that resisted God. There was nothing. There was no shadow of deceit, no selfishness, no impurity, only light. Her yes to God was complete. Her surrender was perfect. And her purity was not cold or distant, but full of maternal warmth and tenderness. Her undefiled life teaches us that true beauty comes from a heart completely open to God's grace. An inviolate and undefiled soul, is a gift not only to God, but to us, her children, so that we may know that we are never alone, that someone has walked this journey before us, and that someone is praying for us to reach our home in heaven. Some have asked, why do Catholics call her so many names? Why give her such title? Isn't it taking glory from God? Others accuse the church of exalting Mary too much, or of making her equal to Christ. But this criticism sometimes comes from not fully understanding what the church teaches. Catholics do not worship Mary. We honor her because God first honored her. When we praise Mary's purity, we are really glorifying the God who made her pure. When we call her inviolate and undefiled, we are marveling at what God's grace can accomplish in a human life. All devotion to Mary leads us closer to Jesus, not away from him.